Hello, I'm Coach Christian, and I help extremely stressed people to deal with their stress by observing it for themselves. Welcome to yet another video. Every single day, I publish a video that's designed to provide you with tools that you can use to handle any stressful situation in your life. All right, or situations that may arise. So, let's actually move into the question of the day, and it's as follows. Coach Christian, how do I handle rejection? Coach Christian, how do I handle rejection? Yeah, rejection is a tough one, isn't it? Yeah, I feel like it's almost inevitable if you're trying to do something. If you're trying to do something, or if you take any form of risk, naturally there's a possibility of rejection, isn't it? I mean, I experience rejection a lot, for example, in business, right? So reach out to people, potential clients, right? You may reach out to clients and they say no, potential clients, or they don't want to work with you. You may reach out to someone, tell them why your product is good for them, what benefit you'll give to their audience, right? And they don't, right? They just reject it. They don't reply, or they reply saying no, right? So rejection is like, I mean, if you're in business, of course, rejection is part and parcel, right, of the game. But there's all sorts of rejections, obviously, isn't it? So, for example, if you go to work in relationships, right? Part of the fear. Let's say if you're a guy trying to approach girls, one of the big fears is just rejection. You know, what if I ask her out and she says no? All right. Um, Sometimes we don't do things that we want to do because we're afraid that we'll be rejected by others. So this one is big. So now the question is, well, how do I handle this? How do I handle rejection? Well, the first thing is just to understand what rejection is, right? So, and let's say, I don't know, man. Let's say I ask you to do something from me and you refuse to do it, okay? Let's say, okay, I ask you to go to a party with me and you say no, okay? So now you've rejected me. Okay, so why is that? Let's say, let's look at the pain. Where does the pain of that come from, right? Or what's the actual pain here? This rejection pain. What is it? In a sense, what happens is if I invite you to go out with me and then you reject me, actually, here's the reality. The reality is that you rejected my offer. That's the first beginning. You see, one of the causes of my pain is that I am interpreting the rejection of my offer as the rejection of me, right? I mean, so for example, right? So part of like running Observe the company is that I have a mailing list, right? So sometimes people will join the mailing list and then they leave the mailing list, right? Unsubscribe from the mailing list. Right? So if I'm not careful, I'm going to interpret the fact that they unsubscribe from the mailing list as the same thing as they don't like me, or they've unsubscribed for me. They don't like me anymore. Because sometimes it's your friends who unsubscribe, right? So you think, oh shit, this cannot be my friends. Clearly, they've unsubscribed from me. They've rejected me. But that's not true. They just, if you wanna, they just rejected the mailing list. They rejected the offer. Doesn't mean they rejected you, right? You don't know if maybe if you offer something else, they will not accept it. You see. So a lot of it is just it's internal, isn't it? someone rejects, let's say, going to a party with me, and I conclude that they've rejected me. No, they haven't rejected me. They've just rejected going to a party with me. That's the first realization, isn't it? You're interpreting interpreting the word no to mean is as like a sort of attack upon you, right? So this is one of the crux, the beginning of the problem, you see. Then the other thing to note is, I mean, I could give you something just external we can do, right, in terms of rejection. Another thing to realize when it comes to rejection is that you can survive it, right? If someone rejects you, if you ask a girl out and the girl rejects you, or you tell somebody to, yeah, let's just make it that way. Let's say you ask a girl out and she rejects you. Yes, it's going to be painful, but you can survive the pain. Okay, let's start. You can survive the pain. It's not going to kill you. That's a good realization, because sometimes when you start to imagine what could go wrong, you can get so much in the grip of fear that you feel that there is no way you can possibly that this will just be the end of the world. Like, if let's say I apply to this job, let's say you do an interview and you're like, oh geez, if they don't accept me at this job, I'm done. And you'll notice that if they don't accept you, or maybe if they fire you, you're not done, right? You're still able to walk, you're still able to breathe, you're still able to think, you're still able to go home, you can apply for another job. That's the first realization, is that even when people reject your offer, or maybe they can even reject you directly, I don't know, but you can survive rejection, right? All you gotta do is deal with the pain that comes from rejection. I mean, since you and I don't know how to not feel like someone rejects you and you feel nothing, right? You and I are perhaps not reached at such a level, but at least here's what you know, is that, I don't know if you've made this observation also, is that if someone rejects you, actually, if someone gives you a rejection, right? Okay, if someone rejects an offer of yours, you're going to feel pain, but you'll still be able to handle the situation. That is, your life is not going to end because you're rejected. So the key then becomes at least dealing with the pain when it arises, isn't it? And the good news about the pain is that the pain is also temporary, right? If your boyfriend dumps you today, you're going to experience pain, but the pain is temporary, okay? I mean, I know in the moment it's hard to believe that because it's so painful, but it's temporary, right? Because you can sit with the pain. If you just sit down and notice that the pain will subside. And the reason you know that it's going to subside is because throughout your life you've had many painful moments, and you are able to get out of them, right? They didn't last forever. Uh, you've been rejected many times in your life. Maybe you applied to a college and never got accepted. Maybe you applied for a job and never got accepted. Maybe you asked someone out and they didn't, or maybe you thought someone was the love of your life and they dumped you. You've probably had many of those situations in the past, right? The pain was intense, but you were able to, eventually the pain went away and there were moments of joy. The other thing to realize if you're going through rejection is that this pain will subside. Okay, so these are like the nuts and bolts things, right? It's just putting things in perspective, isn't it? Realizing that life is highs and lows, and after every high there is a low, after every low there is a high. So just, if you're at a low, just wait it out and you'll go to a high. So that's the first thing to realize, right? Is don't use this experience to think of your future will be that way. This is irrational and doesn't agree with observations. All right. And then there's obviously a deeper level, right? So what you really want is to be so composed, because it takes time to handle the pain, right? It depends on how severe it is. For example, there's certain things that I can experience now. There are certain rejections I can experience now that I'll get over in a few minutes. And there are other forms of rejection that can take me a couple of hours to get over, right? Obviously, what I want to do is to have such mastery over myself to get to the point where it doesn't matter what you do to me. Literally, I don't feel any pain as a result. Right? If you dump me, you reject me, the economy fails, you do what? I'm totally fine. It's not that I'm suppressing aggression or anger or disappointment. There's just no disappointment there. I have taken such control over my own faculties that it's impossible for something external to mess with my internal state. I am joyful and calm regardless of what people do or say, whether they reject me or accept me, right? So this is really the Holy Grail. This is really where you want to get to. At the moment, you and I, we don't know we don't know, we are not there yet. So we just deal with a bit of we just use a bit of observations to help us get through it, knowing that it's temporary, knowing that even past the rejection, we can still continue, right? In terms of developing mastery over the system so that an external event can't make me miserable, the best tool I know is observation, right? In this particular moment when I have just been rejected, I observe the feelings in my body. I observe the feeling in my body. I observe the thoughts running through my mind. I pay attention to everything happening within me. The more I do this, the better I become at handling disappointment and rejection. It doesn't mean that I don't get disappointed, right? But I become better at handling it. And when I find a tool by which I can take total control over my system so that nothing outside can depress me, right? Then I take that solution. But for now, the best I can do is I'm in pain. Let me observe the pain. I've just been rejected. Let me close my eyes. Let me sit with my back straight to be as alert as possible. I'm closing my eyes to shut out distractions. Let me feel the intensity of the pain. Let me see the thoughts running through my mind. Right? This observation alone gives me greater mastery over my own system, which means that even when I experience the worst rejection, I'm never going to be totally lost. Okay? And then there's another thing you should be aware of here. I think it's important. Another observation is when you feel rejected, right, and you experience the pain of rejection, if you're not careful, that can put you into a state of fear. You can get so beaten down by a rejection that you think that there is no point in trying anymore because whatever you try is going to be a rejection. It's kind of like the classic case. Um, you reach out to a girl, right? Let's say if you're a guy, you reach out to a girl, ask her out on a date, she says no. Now you feel maybe she even mocks you, laughs, and says, "How would me go out with you?" Right? It really puts you down. And then after that, you become so afraid that you never approach any women anymore. Or when you approach a woman, you approach them with such fear that pretty much you've guaranteed that they're going to say no to you. Right? So this is key. You don't want to get yourself so beaten down by rejection that you stop trying. Right? This is this is like an instinctive reaction you may notice in yourself is that when you get beaten down, you become so low. When you become low, you're full of fear. You think about how things will not work out, not looking at how things will work out. What you want is to be balanced. See the risks and see the possibilities. When you've been beaten down and rejected, you only see the risks. You're afraid. You don't see possibilities, right? If if you're aware of this, at the very least, when you're in that state, you can know when you find yourself just thinking about how things are not possible, how it will always never work out. If you're at least aware of how this thing works, you'll be able to at least be aware and know that, oh, okay, I'm in the fear state again. I'm just looking at what won't work. And I'm being irrational right now. Let me look at how things might work, right? So just being aware of how these things work gives you more and more possibilities, right? And it can actually allow you to switch your instincts, isn't it? Switch your instincts a bit, which means that in the moments when you get beaten down instead of staying down, you could change your instinct to getting up, right? Because I mean, you can feel that you can't get up. You can feel that you're so rejected, you'll never survive this. But even in that moment, you can survive it. You can get up, right? So I'm not trying to motivate you. I'm not a motivational speaker. So if you've seen my other videos, you know I'm not a motivational guy. I'm interested in getting you to face realities. All right. So, but the key, of course, is I mean, I think we've talked about a lot of this already. Look, if you love this video, please give it a thumbs up. All right. Please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification. Ding, ding, ding. This will notify you whenever I publish a new video, right? Because every single day I create a video that's designed to provide you with tools that you can use to deal with your stress, right? So in particular, look, if you have any questions or comments, please add them in the comment section below. I want to know what you're thinking so I can make videos that meet your needs. And in particular, if you ask a question, it's possible that I will answer it in a forthcoming video. Now, if you loved these ideas I was sharing about about like observing the pain that comes from rejection, observing the rejection itself, observing how you act after the rejection, observing how the fear that results from being rejected. If you want to observe all of this stuff so that you can overcome it, of course, then just go again. I have a tool for you for that. Just go to the description of this video and click on something called the Observe approach. There's a link for the Observe approach. Click on that link. It's the first link. This will give you free and instant access to a simple but very powerful method that you can apply right now to deal with the rejection you're experiencing or the fear of rejection or all of that stuff, right? And it's a tool that helps you to observe any problem, including problems of rejection, of being very down and low. All right, so just click on the link there and you'll have access to that tool. Now, in the description also, in the description of this video, I will also add links, right? Links to videos, other videos that I've made that are related to this topic. If you like this video, likely you'll also enjoy those. They'll be valuable to you. So I'll add those videos also in the description of this video. Otherwise, look, thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Bye.